Good afternoon. It is Monday. We are currently headed to Miatas and More. I'm gonna head to go see Jace. He sent me a text this morning that all of my hubs are ready to, and I can pick them up. So we're gonna pick those up, and then I gotta make the trip down to drop everything off at the powder coaters. And yeah, so that's the plan today, and then I gotta go to work. So almost to Jace's now, and I'll catch up with you guys right then. Alrighty, so I'm at Jace's, and like I said, we put new bearings in the rear, and then as far as the fronts go, they're actually new hubs and bearings. Jace even painted them up for me. He did a good job. So Jace, give us like the quick rundown of what you do in a process like this.
So basically what we do is we order all Timken bearings. We pull them apart, pull the races apart, and polish them up to get all the grooves off of them basically, and make them nice and clean, slick, repack them with some CB2 Redline synthetic bearing grease.
The good stuff.
Yeah.
The good stuff.
And then that's actually what most like spec racers do for their stuff to gain, you know, a couple extra tenths in a lap or something like that.
Reduce a little bit of drag.
Yeah, reduces a lot of drag. So basically, if you put a wheel on that thing and put it upright and spin it, that thing will spin probably for a good minute.
And that's what we want too, because that's essentially, for my end of things, it's free horsepower. But I mean, this is one of the services that he's done. I mean, he does Miatas and More. He is a Miata and More shop. They do a lot of other stuff, so this is actually one of the things that he's pretty comfortable at doing and really good at. And I mean, I don't really have much Miata stuff anymore, but he's actually the guy that used to build my 1.6 liter engines, along with the machine work from CW Pence, who I still use to this day. So it's still cool to keep the circle small. I mean, Jace has always been a friend. I mean, I've known him for 10 years now.
12 years, yeah.
So it's gonna be cool. We'll be seeing him more. He's actually gonna go to FL2K with us to race, so I'll be hanging out with him for the weekend. But it's awesome that he was able to knock this out for me, and I appreciate you, sir.
Anytime.
And get back to the track. I got drag week coming up, and yay. And we are back in the garage, and look what we have here. Got the front hubs, and I got the rears. Everything's good. And remember how I mentioned before how the axle never fully seated into the rear on the driver's side? I actually just slid in both axles to both hub assemblies, and they both bottom out how they're supposed to. So I'm really curious now to see if I have that wobble up at higher speeds. This year, we've accomplished a lot with the car, a lot. But one of the big things that's been rewarding for me is I redid the pinion angle on the differential, and that fixed a lot of my vibrations. But upwards of 140 mile an hour north to 160 or 170, 180, it had another crazy vibration. So I'm really curious now if this is ultimately the fix for all this vibration I've had. I don't know. So it is 3:35 a.m. I am going to actually go to sleep right now. I'm gonna wake up. My plans for tomorrow before work, I have to help my grandparents move some furniture. But before work, I would like to put on the rear hubs, bolt together the rear end, and I have to remove the fuel tank, remove the water box, because I have to bring the water box to Brian's house so he can spray it with the lizard skin. So I just want to go to sleep now, wake up early, and just get that knocked out of the way versus staying up late now, and then I still got to do some stuff in the morning. So I think this will be a better bet. It's weird because I usually never go to bed after work, but I think it'll be better. So I have the fronts now. I have everything I need to put the suspension back. I have new inner tie rods, new outer tie rods, new blower ball joints. And then also at Brian's, when I go there tomorrow, I'm grabbing his grease gun. That way I can grease my front uppers. And then that should be it, everything for my suspension side of things. So, like I said before, you know, it is very stressful that I have 17 days till drag week, and the car is in the condition it's in. But the other good side of this, if there is some light at the end of the tunnel, it's the fact that I am literally going over every single nut and bolt in this car right now. So this is a good nut bolt check, you know, just to verify everything's good. Because I will admit, there's a few things that were loose that I'm surprised were loose, but now I can go through, make sure everything is good, verify everything's good, and less to worry about. So anyway, we are going to continue on with this in the morning. Well, unfortunately, it's much later in the day than I anticipated. I don't know why, but I'm freaking tired today. Probably from waking up really early yesterday. But either way, I gotta sit here. I'm gonna pull out the fuel tank real quick and the ice box. I gotta get that stuff over to Brian's house today. And then if anything, I can always put in my hubs after work. So I gotta get this tank out real quick. And just like that, got the ice box out. I got the fuel cell out. Trunk is nice and empty, which this is actually a really good time for me this week with the white or wet rag. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe this whole trunk down because of all the dust and tire rubber. You can see that beautiful Aeromoda fuel pump just chilling here. I love this thing. Nice and quiet, and it's actually really good at flowing some fuel. So ever since switching to that pump, I mean, I can promise you I haven't had a single fuel pressure issue since. And then also being able to have the low speed, high speed combination on it, it's been life changing. Like when we drove the car up in the mountains, like I physically cannot hear the pump running, the fuel pump running while the engine's running. Yes, you can hear it before you start the engine, obviously. But once the actual car is running, I don't hear the fuel pump. Versus with like the Magna Fuel before, because it only had one speed, it was a DC motor. That thing was just loud and honky all the time. And then of course, when I put this pump in, only wired high speed, I about went deaf. But yeah, so I'm gonna be dropping that off to the water cooler box off to Brian before I go to work today. He is going to be, like I said, covering it with that lizard skin insulating material. So since I have a little bit of time, I'm gonna go ahead and knock out the passenger side rear, put that assembly together, and then that should be good for me today until I get off work tonight. Well, I got home from work, and instead of putting that rear hub assembly together, I kind of forgot that I'm going to the machine shop on Thursday. I didn't forget, it's just I'm getting overwhelmed with so much stuff going on. It slipped my mind. So I actually just got home from work. I've been home for about an hour and a half now. I just pulled both heads off. I pulled all the lifters out. So everything's sitting here. All the lifters are perfect. This is actually the first time that I've had this side. This is the side that I actually drilled and tapped the head. And like all of the, like there's no shavings at all on here. So I guess everything did end up getting flushed. Man, these like everything looks so good on this motor. Let's tell them stock Gen 4 LS pistons. Now what's crazy is whenever I first got this engine, we put everything together, and it was actually the first time, basically on the third pass of the car, it lifted the heads. When I first put this combination together, I had way too small of a turbo. I had a 7675 on it. And with the boost I was running, it had so much back pressure. It took 3 passes to lift the heads on the engine. So when I pulled the heads off to do gaskets real quick before I ran in Bradenton at the reunion race last year, I looked at the pistons and I saw a couple of them were nicked by valves. And it's crazy, like I freaked out. I'm like, oh shit, we got a problem. Looking back at the photos as we were building everything, they were always nicked before I even fired the engine up myself. So it is kind of funny now, if I go to show you guys, you'd probably think I'm the one that made the contact on the pistons here. So I know it was cylinder 1, I want to say 8 got hit too. Yeah. No. It still just baffles me, guys. This is a stock rod and piston motor. And this car freaking flies, man. And everyone keeps saying, oh, it's because the car's so light. Bullshit. This car's 2,900 pounds with me in it. All of the guys that run records, the Fox body right now that's got the stock bottom end records, it's a 2,400 pound car. It's just for what a Miata is and what I made it into, they're already built from the factory to be such small cars. Yes, they were originally built kind of lightweight, but you also got to remember, because it's convertible, it's got a lot more bracing in it than normal cars. Versus like a Fox body hatch or a coupe, there's not as much structure in the bodies themselves versus convertible cars, because they have to make up for the extra bracing so they don't have chassis flex, etc., etc. So it's always funny, like on TikTok lately, I have a video that I posted and it's got like 700,000+ views now. It's crazy. But I mentioned that, okay, the car goes 0 to 60 in 1.6 seconds. Yeah, that's because the car's so light. Most of those people knew how heavy this was. They'd be kind of even more a little bit impressed. Now, I know I haven't done the most revolutionary thing in the world. There is cars quicker than mine, stock bottom end. It's mine, and I'm proud of what I've done, so I'm gonna hold on to that. So anyway, I kind of am at a standstill now. I don't have a balancer puller here. So I'm basically gonna wait until the morning. I'm gonna go to bed, wake up, go rent a balancer puller, and basically by the time I bring this over to Jeff, the motor plates will be off. Front cover I'm probably gonna leave on just for the sake of having it sealed-ish. I'm gonna give him a call tomorrow and see exactly what he wants me to do. I mean, I could strip it down all the way, but I mean, for transportation's sake, it'd be nice to have the pan on it and whatnot. So we'll see. I'll get in touch with him tomorrow. But anyway, I'm actually gonna end this video here. I know this is a long run-on process, but there is so much involved where it's not gonna be one video. I'll have a couple out there. So we got, I mean, this is just, it's a mess. I mean, she's apart. Before I did go to work today, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, I did actually get this side completely finished. So we have the passenger rear side together, and I have literally torqued every single bolt in that corner, and that's kind of a blessing in the situation. Being the fact that the car is so far torn apart, I can go over everything and confidently say it's all tight. And I am verifying everything with my torque wrench, just peace of mind. So anyway, I'm gonna continue the next video. We're gonna pull the rest of this apart, see what Jeff wants to do. And then, yeah, I have a couple projects I need to do to the car while it's in this state. So we'll start working on it then. But anyway, thanks for watching today's video. I'll see you guys in the next one.